Thank you.
Okay.
Sean.
We're in session in cause number 319644. The case is styled as State of Texas versus Tavian McGowan.
Yes, sir.
We have Mr. McGowan appearing via Zoom. Mr. McGowan, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. McGowan, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, sir.
Mr. McGowan, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. McGowan?
Doing okay.
That's good. Mr. McGowan, you're there represented by your attorney, Mr. Langston Adams. Mr. Adams, how are you doing?
Doing good.
That's good. Mr. Adams, do you waive a record in Mr. McGowan's case?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. McGowan, I have before me a motion to revoke your probation. And in this motion, it alleges that 9th day of April 2019, that you were found guilty for the offense of unlawful restraint. And your punishment was set at 180 days confinement in Jefferson County Jail and a fine of $900. The confinement portion was probated for a period of 2 years. On May 29 of 2020, the state filed a motion to revoke your probation. And in this motion, there are 5 allegations. State, are you proceeding on all 5 allegations?
The allegations on what?
Your Honor, talking to
just the first and the third, Your Honor.
First and third, 1 and 3? Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so you're abandoning counts 2, 4, and 5.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. McGowan, allegation number 1 alleges that you failed to report to the Jefferson County Probation Office as ordered by the court on January 8 of 2020, January 27th of 2020, February 24th of 2020, March 9th of 2020, and March 30th of 2020 as directed in violation of condition 4 of your probation order. Is that true or not true?
That's true.
Allegation 3 alleges that you failed to immediately report to the probation officer your address, your change of address is ordered by the court in violation of condition 11 of your probation order. Is that true or not true?
That's true.
Mr. McGowan, are you pleading true to allegations 1 and 3 freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading true to these allegations because they are true?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. McGowan, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State's Exhibit number 1 is the misdemeanor plea admonishment. On page 2 of this allegation, there are a set of initials TM on a line next to a box checked MTRP, and it says true to allegation 1.
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Adams, is your client pleading true to allegations 1 only or allegations 1 and 3?
1 and 3, right?
Okay, so you just had 1 on this document. Mr. McGowan, do I have your permission to put allegation 3 on this line where it says MTRP allegations 1?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Mr. Adams, do you have any objections to me putting the number 3 on there?
No.
Okay. Now, Mr. McGowan, now it states that you have your set of initials, TM, on a line next to a box that says check MTRP true to allegations 1 and 3.
Yes, sir.
On page 3 of the same document, Mr. McGowan, there's a signature above the line that's titled Defendant. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
And on the next document, which is the trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal, there's a signature at the bottom of this document above the line that's titled Defendant. Did you place your signature on this document?
Yes, sir.
And at the top of this document, there are 2 boxes that are checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, the second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. McGowan, prior to signing initially in these documents that I've just mentioned, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
State I have before me states Exhibit 1. State you like to offer states 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections?
None.
Okay, no objections. States Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Adams, you advising counsel, Mr. McGowan, is there any evidence that he's currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No.
Mr. McGowan, your attorney, Mr. Adams, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided fully effective and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Mr. McGowan, I will accept your plea true to allegations 1 and 3. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to revoke your probation, and your probation is hereby revoked. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
90 days county jail.
If I have, excuse me, Your Honor, if I have a job, I have a trade runner job, do they cut down on some of my time too? For my good time?
Well, Mr. McGowan, I can't, you can talk to your attorney about, that.
What he's referring to?
I'm just saying that the state is offering 90 days to be served in the Jefferson County Jail. You'll be given credit for any time that you are entitled to get by law.
Right. What he was referring to, I think, Judge, is that he was under the impression that regular time is 2 for 1, but as a trustee, he would get 3 for 1. So he's accepting the deal, but he was just want to know is that trustee time. The sheriff will determine what the amount of time that he'll get. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let me repeat this. The state is offering that you serve 90 days in the Jefferson County Jail. You'll be given credit for any time that you're entitled to get by law. The court cost in this case is $57. Now, Mr. McGowan, will you be able to pay $57 prior to being released?
Whenever I get released, yes, sir, I can be able to pay it.
I said before you are released.
No.
Oh, no, sir. No, sir.
Okay, now, Mr. McGowan, I have before me an affidavit of indigency that okay. Well, you didn't complete it. Now let me ask you this here, Mr. McGowan. Are you employed?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you receive any type of government benefits such as Medicaid?
I was going to MHMR Spin Top to get my checks back, my government checks back.
Okay, but are you receiving any? Are you receiving SSI currently?
No, sir, not yet.
Are you receiving SNAP?
No, sir.
Are you receiving TANF?
No, sir. Oh, full stamp, yes, sir.
Are you SNAP? That's SNAP. Oh, so okay, so you're an automatic qualifier. So based on you being an automatic qualifier, that simply means that you meet the eligibility requirements that you are determined to be indigent. And so based on that, pursuant to Article 42.15 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, the court costs in this case will be waived. That simply means that you will not have to pay the court costs. And yes, so your sentence is 90 days confinement in the Jefferson County Jail. You will be given credit for any time that you're entitled to get by law. and the court costs of $57 in this case, in your case, will be waived, which means you won't have to pay it. Mr. McGowan, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. McGowan, I'll follow the plea bargaining agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. McGowan, this will conclude your case. Please follow the bailiff, and you have a blessed day. Your probation is revoked.
Yes, sir. So you say just talk to the sheriff that's work here for my good time on the job thing?
The bailiff could direct you to whoever you need to talk to.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. You have a blessed day.
Y'all too. Thank you.
Okay. Who we have next? Sir, what's your name?
Jesse Franklin.
Franklin?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's a different one. Okay. Is somebody, his name is Jesse Franklin?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me ask you this, Mr. Franklin. Are you a junior or third or something?
A junior.
A junior?
Yes, sir.
I know a gentleman by the name of Jesse Franklin, but I don't think he has a son that young.
You go by the name of Jesse Ray Franklin?
I don't know. I just know him as Jesse Franklin. He has to be probably age-wise about in his 70s.
No, sir. My father's 60 something.
Okay, I would think he would be maybe in his 70s. But I don't think he has a son that young. But in any event, if I do know him, State, you have any objections to me sitting on this case?
No objections, Your Honor.
Defense, you have any objections?
None.
Okay, so you waive any potential conflicts of interest?
Mm-hmm.
State, and the state, what about you?
Yes, Your Honor, we waive.
Okay, we're ready to proceed. Let's see. Okay. We're in session in two cases. The first case is cause number 323762. The second case is cause number 324776. Both cases are styled the state of Texas versus Jesse Franklin. In cause number, let's see. In cause number 323762, Mr. Franklin, the information that I have before me alleges that on or about May 16th of 2019, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of failure to identify fugitive from justice. Mr. Franklin, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Mr. Franklin, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
And are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Franklin, I have before me a document that is titled to misdemeanor plea admonishment. It is also labeled as State's Exhibit number 1. On page 2 of this document, there are a set of initials on a line that's next to a box that's checked nola contendere. Now, Mr. Franklin, are you pleading nola contendere means no contest. Are you pleading no contest or are you pleading guilty?
Guilty.
No, you plead no contest.
Oh, I didn't really understand. I'm sorry.
Okay, so are you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, Mr. Franklin, as I said earlier, I have a document before me that is titled the Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment. On page 2 of this document, there's a set of initials next to a box that's checked nola contendere, which means no contest. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 3 of the same document, there's a signature above the line that's titled Defendant. Did you sign this document? And did you sign this document?
Yes,
Page 3?
Yes,
On
sir.
the next document is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. There's a signature at the bottom of this document as well above the line that's titled Defendant. Did you sign this document?
Yes, sir.
And on the same page of this document, at the top of this page, there are 2 boxes that's checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box check states that this is a plea bargain case. Excuse me. The second box that's checked states that you have waived your right to appeal, which means that you are giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Franklin, did you sign a document out there that is titled Discovery Certification? That's a document on paper.
Yes, sir.
And before you signed and initial all of these documents that I have just mentioned, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, Your Honor.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer State's 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections?
None. No objections.
No objection. State's Exhibit number 1 is admitted. Mr. Adams, you advise counsel.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Yes.
I would also offer State's Exhibit number 2, the probable cause affidavit.
You any objections?
No objections.
Okay, no objections. State's Exhibits 1 and 2 are admitted. And Mr. Adams, you advising counsel, Mr. Franklin, is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, nothing.
And Mr. Franklin,
Yes,
your
sir.
attorney, Mr. Adams, has advising counsel you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Franklin, I will accept your plea of no contest. We'll find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. We'll also find that your plea of no contest and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Could you give me his? Does he have one of those? State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
45 days county jail. And this case will run concurrently. Cause number 324776. And the state also agrees to reject the new possession of a dangerous drug that he had just picked up.
Okay. Okay. Now, Mr. Franklin.
Yes, Your Honor.
The state is offering that you serve 45 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, and you'll be given credit for any time that you are entitled to get by law on this case.
Yes, Your Honor.
The court cost in this case is $327. Mr. Franklin, would you be able to pay the $327 before you are released?
Probably not before I release, but when I touch ground, I promise I will have a payment.
Okay, well, it has to be done before you release it. So, Mr. Franklin.
You don't have the money to do it before.
Yeah.
No, sir.
Okay. Okay, so I have before me a affidavit of indigency, or affidavit of indigence that I guess one of the magistrates signed, and I think you signed it as well before when they had an appointment of counsel. The magistrate who signed this order signed stating that you met the eligibility requirements. What that meant is you were found to be indigent and therefore you qualified for a court-appointed attorney. And based on, this document was signed on September 11th, 2021, which was about 5 days ago. And so, Mr. Franklin, the court is going to find that you are indigent, and the court cost of $327 will be waived.
Yes,
pursuant
sir.
To Article 42, pursuant to Article 42.15 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. Now, Mr. Franklin, the state will also be rejecting a possession of a dangerous drug case, and this case will also run concurrent with cause number 322, this case will run concurrent with cause number 324776. Mr. Franklin,
yes,
do you
Your Honor.
understand the state's offer?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you think that the state's offer in this case is fair and just?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Franklin, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Now, Mr. Franklin, your next case is cause number 324776. And Mr. Franklin, in this case, I have an information before me that alleges that on or about May 16th of 2019, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 2A. Mr. Franklin, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, Your Honor.
And to this charge, Mr. Franklin, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
Okay, now, Mr. Franklin, I'm looking at a document that have your initials on a line next to a box that's checked nola contendere, which means no contest. So
Right.
are you pleading guilty,
Yes,
or
Your
you
Honor.
pleading no contest?
Yes, Your Honor.
What are you pleading?
No content. No contest. I'm sorry.
Okay, now, Mr. Franklin, are you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily?
Yes, Your Honor.
And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, now, Mr. Franklin, I have before me a document that is titled the Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. And on this document, Mr. Franklin, now, Mr. Adams, you had a Class A check the box. It's a Class B. Is it all right for me to erase that and make the corrections?
I apologize, Judge. Yes, that's
Okay.
actually lowering your range of punishments. It's better for you.
Okay.
Okay.
We talked about that.
Okay, so Mr. Franklin, do you have any objections to me changing the box that's checked?
No, Your
I have your
Honor.
permission to do that? Okay. Now, let me tell you this here. On a Class B misdemeanor, the range of punishment is confinement in jail for a term not to exceed 180 days, a fine not to exceed $2,000, or you could be given both such fine and confinement. That's just a range of punishment for a Class B misdemeanor. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And on page 2 of the same document, there's a box that's checked nola contendere and a line next to it with initials JF. Did you initial this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
On page 3 of the same document, there's a signature above the line that's titled Defendant. Did you sign this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
On the next document, which is trial court certification, the defendant's right of appeal, there's a signature above the line that's titled Defendant. Did you sign this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
There are 2 boxes that's checked at the top of this document. One box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
The second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Franklin, did you sign a document out there on paper that is titled the discovery certification?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Franklin, prior to signing and initialing these documents that I have just mentioned, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, Your Honor.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1, the misdemeanor plea admonishment. State, would you like to also offer State's Exhibit number 2, the probable cause affidavit?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections?
No objections.
No objections. State's Exhibit 1 and 2 are admitted. Mr. Adams, you advising counsel, Mr. Franklin, in this case as well, is there any evidence that he's currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
Yes.
There is evidence that he is mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No. I've advised you. No, he's competent.
Okay. Now, Mr. Franklin.
Yes, sir.
The attorney, Mr. Adams, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, Your Honor.
And has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, Your Honor.
Hey, Mr. Franklin, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you're mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea of no contest and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. I'll also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
It's 45 days county jail to run concurrently with his other cause number 323762. And also, again, that possession of dangerous drug will be rejected in consideration for the plea.
Okay. Oh, it's only written on one? It's only written on the other case. Okay. Now, Mr. Boyd, the court clerk said that was only written on the first case, not on the second case.
Yes, Your Honor. I guess you could check with Mr. Adams. I'm sure. I mean, it's going to have the same effect. We're going to go ahead and reject it based off the first one, anyways.
What he's saying is now, Mr. Adams, do you want that included on the second case as well, or because it wasn't written on the plea information agreement that it was rejected on the second case?
Oh, I don't think it'll make a difference. I mean, as long as
it's on one case. Okay, I said it's on the first case.
Yeah. I don't think it'll make a difference because we can enforce that first case.
Okay. All right. Now, Mr. Franklin.
Yes, sir.
The state is offering that you serve 45 days in the Jefferson County Jail. You'll be given credit for any time that you are entitled to get by law. This case will run concurrent with the previous case, which is cause number 323-7. Oh, yeah.
762, Your Honor.
Yes, it'll run concurrent with cause number 323-762. And Mr. Franklin, do you understand? Okay. Also, Mr. Franklin, the court costs in this case of $327 will be waived pursuant to 42.15, so you won't have to pay that because the court has found that you are indigent. Now, Mr. Franklin, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Franklin, I'll follow the plea bargaining agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Franklin, this will conclude your cases. Please follow the bailiff. You have a blessed day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You are welcome. Sir, what's your name?
Kelvin Johnson.
We're in session in cause number 327-592 and cause number 330-538. Both cases are style of State of Texas versus Kelvin Johnson. Mr. Johnson, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Johnson, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Johnson, you may put your hand down. Mr. Johnson, how are you doing?
All right, and you?
That's good, Mr. Johnson. And I'm doing fine. Mr. Johnson, you're represented here by your attorney, Mr. Langston Adams. Mr. Adams, you waive a record in this case?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Mr. Johnson, I have before me in cause number 327-592, a motion to revoke probation. And in this motion, Mr. Johnson, there are 4 allegations. And now, Mr. Adams.
I'm here.
There's on the misdemeanor plea admonishment on page 2, they have MTRP true to allegations 1-4.
1 through 4.
Okay, so is it all right for me to, you have to write each number on it. Is it all right for me to write 2 and 1, 2,
Yes,
3,
that's fine.
Okay, now, Mr. Johnson.
Sir.
Did I have your permission to make that corrections to the allegations that you're pleading 1, 2, 3, and 4?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, Mr. Johnson, as I stated earlier, I have before me a motion to revoke your probation in cause number 327-592. And in this motion, it alleges that on May 6th of 2021, that you were found guilty for the Class B misdemeanor offense of trespassing. And your punishment was assessed at 90 days confinement in the Jefferson County Jail and a fine of $500. And your confinement portion was probated for 1 year. The state filed the motion to revoke your probation on August 18 of 2021. In this motion, there are 4 allegations. The first allegation alleges that you, Kelvin Johnson, committed the offense of trespass, Class B, on or about the 27th day of July of 2021 in the county of Jefferson, state of Texas, against the peace and dignity of the state in violation of condition 1 of your probation order. Is that true or not true?
Yes, sir.
Is it true?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you have to say true or not true. Either
Oh,
one.
true.
Okay, all right. Now, allegation number 2 alleges that you, Kelvin Johnson, failed to report to the Jefferson County Probation Office as ordered by the court, and on May 6th of 2021, and for the months of June, July of 2021, as directed in violation of condition 4 of your probation order. Is that true or not true?
It's true.
All right. Allegation number 3 alleges that you, Kelvin Johnson, failed to pay court-assessed fees as ordered by the court, and as of July 20th of 2021, that you were $310 in arrears in violation of condition 8 of the probation order. Is that true or not true?
It's true.
And allegation number 4 alleges that you failed to perform community service hours as required by the court in violation of condition 14 of your probation order. Is that true or not true?
True.
Now, are you pleading true to allegations 1, 2, 3, and 4 freely
Yes,
and
sir.
voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading to these allegations because they are true?
Because they're true.
Okay. Now, Mr. Johnson, I have before me a document that is titled the Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment. It is also labeled as State's Exhibit number 1. On page 2 of this document, there are a set of initials, JK, on a line next to a box that's checked MTRP, which means motion to revoke probation, true to allegations 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's the numbers that you gave me permission to put in. Mr. Johnson, did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
And on page 2 of the same document, Mr. Johnson, there is a signature above the line that's titled Defendant. Did you sign this document?
Yes, sir.
And on the next document, which is trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal, there is a signature at the bottom of this document that is titled Defendant. Did you sign this document?
Yes, sir.
At the top of this document, there are 2 boxes that's checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a motion to revoke. Excuse me. The first box checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box check states that you are waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Johnson, prior to signing and initialing these documents, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer State's Exhibit number 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections, Mr. Adams?
No objections.
No objections. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Adams, you've advised in counsel. Mr. Johnson, is there any evidence that he's currently mentally incompetent to stand trial? Mr. Adams, is there any evidence that Mr. Johnson is mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No evidence that he's incompetent to stand trial.
Okay. And Mr. Johnson, your attorney, Mr. Adams, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir. Can I say something?
Well, you can, I give you an opportunity to talk to your attorney before you, and he can tell you what to say. Just hold on a minute. We're going to go in recess.